Gi-han returns to Seoul 4 years after winning the previous Squid Game. He's now determined to destroy the group behind it. But soon, he realizes he's being watched. He removes a tracking device hidden behind his ear. At the same time, police detective Hwang Jun-ho, who survived being shot and falling into the sea at the end of Season 1, is secretly investigating the games again. Gi-han teams up with his former loan shark, Mr. Kim, and another contact, Choi Wook, to track down the mysterious man who tricks people into joining the deadly contest. Eventually, they spot the recruiter at a subway station. He's running a twisted experiment, offering homeless people a choice between a piece of bread or a lottery ticket. Most take the lottery ticket, and the recruiter angrily rips up the bread they didn't choose. When Mr. Kim and Wook try to confront him, the recruiter overpowers both of them. He forces them into a deadly gamble, a rigged game of rock, paper, scissors mixed with Russian roulette. Mr. Kim gives his life for his friend. Meanwhile, Jun-ho has been tailing the recruiter and follows him to a hideout where Gi-han is already waiting. With nowhere to run, the recruiter finally opens up. He reveals that he was once a soldier in the Squid Game and even had to kill his own father in a past event. He mocks the players, calling them garbage who deserve what happens to them. Then, the recruiter challenges Gi-han for one final round of Russian roulette. In the end, the recruiter loses and pulls the trigger on himself. Though shaken, Gi-han survives and joins forces with Jun-ho. While going through the recruiter's belongings, they find an invite to a secret event. Finally, a clue about the people running the games. Following more hints left behind, they uncover an invitation to an exclusive Halloween VIP party. This might be their chance to catch the frontman. They come up with a plan. Gi-han will attend the party alone, while Jun-ho and a group of mercenaries follow from a distance. To stay connected, Gi-han has a tracking chip implanted in his body. Before heading out, he quietly calls his daughter. Hearing her voice gives him the strength to keep going and end these brutal games once and for all. That night, Gi-han arrives at a fancy masquerade party packed with rich guests in costume. Almost right away, a masked guard in a pink uniform leads him into a private limousine. Jun-ho and his team follow the limo from a distance. Inside the limo, Gi-han finds himself alone. The frontman speaks to him through a speaker. Gi-han demands that the games be shut down and accuses the frontman of being heartless. The frontman laughs coldly in response. Suddenly, through the limo window, Gi-han sees Jun-ho's convoy being attacked. Gunmen ambush the trailing cars, forcing them to crash one after another. Realizing his friends are about to be killed, Gi-han makes a desperate deal. He agrees to return to the Squid Game as a player if the frontman calls off the attack. After a long pause, the frontman accepts the deal. The ambush stops. Jun-ho survives, but Gi-han's fate is now sealed. The limousine changes direction, heading straight back to the Squid Games. Gi-hun, now captured again, is more determined than ever to destroy the games from the inside. Meanwhile, in another part of Seoul, a young North Korean defector struggles to survive. She works as a mascot at a children's theme park and badly needs money to rescue the daughter she had to leave behind in North Korea. Noah has grown close to a sick little girl named Na'an at the park and often helps her father take care of her. One evening, Noah receives the same mysterious card that Gi-hun once got. She sees the Squid Game as her only shot at making the money she needs to save her child, so she decides to take the risk. The next morning, she quits her job and heads to the secret location written on the card. There, along with other desperate people, she's greeted by masked operatives. But in a twist, No isn't chosen to play the games. Instead, she's recruited as one of the anonymous staff members. She puts on a pink jumpsuit and a circular mask, joining the games as a guard instead of a contestant. She enters the organization with a mission of her own. By nightfall, Gi-hun is brought back to the island as a player. Gi-hun wakes up in the familiar dorm room on the remote island, now filled with 456 players, all wearing green tracksuits. As he looks around at the tired and confused faces, he's shocked to recognize Park Jung-bae, an old friend from his neighborhood, who is also trapped in the deadly competition. Gi-hun quietly tells Jung-bae to stay close to him and warns him that the game is deadly serious. Soon, a masked manager addresses the crowd and announces a new rule. After every game, the remaining players will vote on whether to continue or not. If most vote to stop, the games will end and the prize money will be divided among the survivors. Gi-hun sees this as his chance to help everyone get out alive. Meanwhile, out at sea, Junho and his team try to track Gi-hun's signal using the implanted tracker, but the Squid Game staff discover the device and remove it, cutting off the signal. Junho realizes they've lost their only lead. Still, he refuses to give up and begins searching the nearby waters, hoping to find a way onto the hidden island and save Gi-hun. Back at the arena, the first game is revealed. Red light, green light. It's played under the watchful eyes of a huge robotic doll. At first, many players are confused. It looks like a harmless children's game, but Gi-hun knows better. He yells out a warning that anyone caught moving will be killed. Some believe him and freeze in fear. Others don't take it seriously. As the game begins, the horror starts. When green light is called, the players move forward. But when the doll says red light, anyone who moves is instantly detected by the sensors and snipers shoot them on the spot. The field quickly turns into chaos as dozens of people are killed in seconds. Thanks to Gi-hun's warning, a few people around him manage to stay still and survive the first round, but the panic spreads fast. In the middle of the madness, a loud rapper nicknamed Thanos, who had smuggled in drugs, makes things worse. During a freeze, he pushes a man next to him. The man stumbles slightly and is shot dead. Thanos laughs, clearly enjoying the violence, while others around him scream in fear. Even with all the terror around him, Gi-hun stays focused and manages to reach the finish line before time runs out. Among the survivors are his friend Jung Bae and a brave young woman named Cho Hyun-ju. As the dust settles, one injured player is heard softly crying on the field. He was shot but not killed instantly. Acting on instinct, Gi-hun and Hyun-ju step back onto the field to help him. But to their shock, a pink masked guard raises a pistol and shoots the wounded man in the head, ending his life. The remaining players are horrified. It becomes clear that kindness has no place in this brutal game. When the survivors are herded back into the dorm, many are in shock. Gi-hun takes the chance to speak to them. He reveals that he was the only winner of a past Squid Game. The crowd gasps in disbelief. A former champion among them means he knows exactly what they're facing. Gi-hun begs everyone to use the new voting rule wisely. He urges everyone to vote to end the games immediately so they can all go home alive. That night, masked guards return to conduct the vote. One loud player mocks Gi-hun's warning, calling it fake news, and encourages everyone to stay and win big money. His speech energizes some of the crowd. The vote begins in tense silence. One by one, trembling players walk up and press either an X to quit or an O to continue. At first, more players choose to quit, but the numbers quickly even out. Everything comes down to the final vote, player 001. All eyes are on the old man as he slowly steps up and presses the O button. He votes to continue the games. The final result, a narrow majority chooses to keep playing. Some players sigh of relief, others are crushed. Gi-hun closes his eyes, frustrated. His plan to save everyone has failed by just one vote.
What Gi-hun doesn't know is that player 001 is actually the front man in disguise. He rigged the vote to keep the games going. With the games back on, players try to pull themselves together. The kind-looking old man, still pretending to be just another player, approaches Gi-hun. He thanks him for speaking up and shares a sad story about his sick wife to win Gi-hun's sympathy. Touched, Gi-hun promises to protect him. Elsewhere, new relationships begin to form. A disgraced streamer named Lee Meng-yi reunites with his ex-girlfriend, Kim Jun-hee, inside the game. She's not happy to see him. He ghosted her in the past. Meanwhile, Thanos and his partner Park In-gu start bullying Meng-yi in the dorm. They try to scare and humiliate him. But surprisingly, player 001 steps in. With unexpected confidence, he scolds the bullies and puts an end to the fight. Soon, a loudspeaker announces the second game. Players are told to form teams of 5. Gi-hoon quickly gathers his group of friends. Once the teams are made, the game is revealed, a 5-stage relay of classic Korean children's games. Each team of 5 is tied together at the ankles, like a giant 6-legged race. They must complete all the mini-games in order before the timer runs out. The challenges include things like flipping tiles and shooting marbles. If a team fails to finish in time, all members will be eliminated instantly. As the game begins, chaos and teamwork mix together. Gi-hoon's team stumbles early, but by working together and helping one another, they manage to complete all 5 games just seconds before the timer runs out. Cheers erupt from the crowd. Many other teams also succeed once they realize that teamwork is their only hope. But not everyone makes it. After the game, the remaining players sit together, catching their breath. Gi-hoon's team finally shares their names and stories. The bond between them grows stronger. They talk about what they hope to do if they make it out alive. Behind the scenes, not all the staff are following the rules. A secret group of corrupt guards has been stealing organs from dead players and selling them on the black market. Gang No E, now working as one of the guards, discovers this horrible operation. The masked officer in charge warns her to keep quiet. Gang, horrified, pretends to agree, but deep down, she's determined to stop this evil if she gets the chance. That evening, the players are given another chance to vote. The prize money has grown a lot thanks to the recent deaths, tempting some players to keep going. Shockingly, it's player 001 who speaks up. He suggests they should consider quitting now while most of them are still alive. Many agree, too traumatized to continue. But the same loud guy from earlier argues that the prize isn't big enough yet. He starts chanting one more game, riling up the group. The vote is taken. Despite the split, the majority chooses to continue. The deadly games move on to the 3rd round. Outside, Junho and his team are still trying to find Gi-hoon. They use drones to scan nearby islands. At first, they think they found something, but it turns out to be a trap. Someone on their team is secretly working against them. Shockingly, it's the friendly old fisherman. He kills one of the mercenaries in secret. The next day, the 3rd game begins with a psychological twist. The players gather in a brightly colored hall for a game called Mingle. The rules are simple. When told, they must quickly form groups of a specific size. Anyone who fails to join a group in time will be eliminated. As the timer counts down, chaos erupts. Players push and shove to form perfect-sized groups. Friends are ripped apart and promises are broken. Thanos, who only cares about himself, betrays his allies without hesitation. With each new round, the required group size changes, and the panic only grows. In the final round, the game calls for odd-numbered groups, which means some players will definitely be left out. Everyone sprints for the last spots. Jung-bae runs alongside player 001, but when they reach a safe zone that's already full, the gentle old man suddenly reveals his dark side. He snaps another player's neck without hesitation to make space. The rest of the players return to the dorm, shaken and full of fear. Tension fills the room. Still, the guards come for the next vote. By now, the prize pool is massive. Many players are ready to quit. When it's time to vote, player 001 causes a tie. Gasps fill the room. According to the rules, a tie means the games are temporarily paused. The masked man announces a 24-hour break, followed by a final vote to break the deadlock. The break only increases the fear. Everyone realizes that those who want the game to continue now have one option: to eliminate the players who want to quit. As night falls, tension turns into terror. This time, the players are given sharp utensils with their food. Ji-hun knows what's coming: a bloodbath. Later that night, a huge fight breaks out in the bathrooms. Maengi is forced into a one-on-one battle with Thanos. Desperate, Maengi grabs a metal fork and stabs Thanos in the neck, killing him. Ji-hun and his group stick together, preparing for the worst. Just as he feared, the most ruthless players launch a midnight massacre. They attack with homemade weapons and raw violence. The dorm turns into complete chaos. But Ji-hun had a plan. He told his team not to fight unless necessary. They barricade themselves behind beds, defending only to survive, not to kill. Eventually, the guards storm in with rifles and restore order. The room is full of bodies. But Ji-hun's true plan begins now. He tells his friends, "We shouldn't be fighting each other. We need to fight the guards. That's the only way to end this." They pretend to be dead, then ambush the guards. They take their guns and fight back. Ji-hun gathers his rebel team, including, ironically, the frontman himself, who had become Ji-hun's close friend. They head toward the control room, but are quickly overwhelmed by pink-suited guards. A massive shootout breaks out. One tall guard becomes the MVP of the fight, taking out several enemies, but one player panics and runs back to hide in the dorm. Ji-hun and his friend push ahead, but are pinned down in the stairwell. Just then, the frontman shows up with backup. He suggests a plan to sneak around the guards and attack from behind, but it's a trick. The frontman betrays them. He fakes his own death and turns the tide. The rebellion is crushed. In the end, Ji-hun is captured. The frontman, now fully back in uniform, doesn't kill him. Instead, he kills Jung-bae, Ji-hun's close friend, as punishment, and leaves Ji-hun alive to suffer and finish the game. And that's where Squid Game Season 2 ends. If you like this recap, make sure to subscribe for more epic breakdowns. See you in the next recap. Till then, take care.